Hello, 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 and welcome to the Enricher Circle podcast. We're super excited. I'm your host, Rodrika Bennett, and today we have a special guest named John de Jong, a veteran entrepreneur with over 45 years of experience in sales and marketing, and the owner of Alley Cat Signs. John reveals the lessons behind business and business longevity. John, welcome to the podcast.
Thank you so much for having me, Ricky. It's a pleasure to be here.
You too. I'm super excited to have you here on today. I want to make sure everyone knows more about who you are as a person. So, John, could you kind of give us more background about you and some details about how you have over 800 glowing reviews?
Sure. My wife Barbara and I have been married for 39 years. We have three adult sons, two of which are married. And the exciting thing about that is I like to say the reason we have 800 Google reviews is because we run our business the same way we raised our three sons. And that's on the golden rule. Just treat others the way you want to be treated, right? It's not rocket science.
I love it, and I thought it was funny that you made sure you put adult sons in front of it because my mom is a stickler when she describes us. She makes sure she says my adult daughter.
Yeah.
um,
Well, there's another podcaster who I respect a lot, and he's a little bit younger than me, but he's got a 5-year-old daughter. So, um, my I like to say that I'm finished raising my sons, but I'm not finished raising my sons.
I don't think we ever get tired of our parents. We always have something we go to our parents for. But
I think so.
Judd,
Yeah.
again, thank you for joining us and telling us about your background. So I kind of want to go ahead and dive into more about your business. With managing a business for 16 years across two major markets, um, how did you really keep that stable?
So, we bought Alley Cat Science 16 years ago. A little more background story to that is in 2008, my appendix burst and I almost passed away. And that was that was a life altering experience. But at the time, I worked for a major automobile dealership here in Victoria, and I had a really good 6-figure income. But a funny thing happened. I was in the hospital and my boss called me and said, John, when are you coming back to work? And, I had major complications and things went downhill, and I was gone for almost a month, and it was contest week or contest month. And I'd won trips during this contest time. So I was a strong producer for this company. But when I got back, one of the things that, makes a business work well is measuring things. And I measured my performance, and I had salespeople who reported to me, and I measured their performance. Well, my personal performance went down by 40%. But I was the same guy with the same talents and the same experience that I had before. So what was the thing that happened? Well, I was treated disrespectfully, and I lost respect for my owner because he cared more about getting me back to work and selling cars and making deals than he cared about my wife and 3 kids. Almost lost husband and dad. So I think your question was, how do I keep it separate? What ended up happening was my wife and I decided I can't work for a guy like that anymore. I can't work for a company that disrespects me that much. So we doubled the mortgage on our house. We went out and got lines of credit, and I bought an existing business. Now I know a lot of people who hear this might be thinking about getting into their own business. I totally recommend nowadays buying a business. Do not start your own business. There's nothing harder. Well, starting a family or whatever can be hard, or my marriage, but starting a business is one of the really hard things to do too. And there are so many people like me who are in their 60s now who are looking to retire, and their kids didn't come in the business. I'm very blessed that my oldest son does work for us in the business. We're a family business, but there's so many great businesses out there that people can't find good buyers for them. So you don't need to start a business, buy a business. And that's what I did. So at the time, this was 16, 17 years ago, it was called Alley Cat Insta Signs. And I didn't really like that name. The Insta Sign thing was kind of seemed really value or budget and to me, and I wanted to move a little bit upscale. So I called it Alley Cat Signs and Marketing, and at the time, I had no idea what the and marketing point was. I didn't know where we were going to pivot there. I just knew I had all this experience, and somehow it would come into play. Well, 10 years later, this thing called COVID happened, and of course, right? So nobody needed signs. They only needed stickers on the floor that said, hey, social distance this far away. And they needed plexiglass shields. And we did that. And we had to lay all of our staff off, including our son. And I thought, man, we got to figure this out. Like, I got to keep going. And businesses were going out of business, restaurants, as you know. So I had a bad experience. Well, let me put it this way. I had an experience with digital marketing. It was a bad experience. I spent thousands of dollars and got absolutely zero return on my dollar. So I knew that people needed digital marketing. I knew that they didn't know who to trust, because I didn't know who to trust after I'd been burned like that. And I know they didn't know how much it should cost, but I told you before how to pronounce my last name is de Jong. It's because I'm a Dutchman. If you know anything about Dutch people, we're notoriously frugal. So I really work hard at giving good value for the money. So I tried to focus my digital marketing business at being affordable for small and medium-sized businesses. So that's what we did. I had to pivot into digital marketing because of COVID. And there's one thing I knew when I bought Alley Cat signs, is that people need signs when business is good and people need signs when business is bad. Well, it's exactly the same thing, if not more so nowadays, with digital marketing. People need digital marketing. They need to be found online when they're starting out, and they need to be found online once you're established, because there's always competition out there, and it never stops. So dividing the business, actually, I don't really do. I actually multiplied my business. So
Okay.
people who needed signs, now they need digital marketing. People who come in and need digital marketing, most of them still need some physical signs. So it's very complementary. Does that answer your question?
Yes, it does. I love it. And I'm a stickler. I hate getting clients who have basically been done wrong when it comes to marketing, because I have a lot of clients who are in that startup phase where they follow this person saying, put an ad to it, put an ad to it, and they don't have a target audience base.
Yeah.
And I'm like, why did you do that? And they're spending thousands of dollars running ads, but don't have the ads converting. And
Yeah.
that's like one of my biggest pain points, of seeing people thinking that just running an ad is going to build your target market. And that's not the case. So I definitely
No.
love the fact that you actually went through and honed in, okay, this is the market that I want to go after, and
Hmm.
transition and pivot. Um, and I think that's probably why you have your great reviews. And I would say, how do you translate the culture of your team to kind of make sure that you have a powerhouse reputation, and that it goes from you and down to everyone else on your team, to keep those reviews high?
Yeah, well, you hit the nail right on the head. Culture starts at the top. You
Mhm.
have to lead by example, and we position ourselves as we're not the most expensive in the market, and we're not the cheapest in the market, and but we offer really, really good value and personal service. And the thing that I can't stand is that when you know people people come into my shop and sometimes they just say, "Oh, print this," and I said, "Whoa, whoa, whoa! Like, do you want something that's good, or do you want me to print what your dream is? Because let's just reshape your dream a little bit here. You've got this vision, you're in love with it, and I like that, but it's all about drawing business in. You want customers. Like, it's no use having a dream if it's a failed dream. Let's make it a successful dream. So let's pivot it. Let's take these colors and make them brighter and bolder. It's all about the message, right? What do you do? Like you can see here, you look at my company name on the board behind me, Alley Cat Marketing. We do signs and we do marketing. People know exactly what it is that we do, and I get you found. So when you've got a company name like Smith Enterprises, which is a name that a business that my dad actually bought back in the 1970s, no one knows what that is.
Mhm.
You've got to have a message. So I really work hard on putting out a good product, making sure it delivers a message that people want, because long after the sign is done and out there, it's still representing Alley Cat Signs and Marketing. And Alley Cat Signs, it's not me, it's not my identity, but it's a part of my identity. It's part of who I am. So if I'm not putting out a good product, I'm not representing myself well. If my team isn't putting out a good product, they're not representing our company well. So we make sure we put out a good product. And then I can ask people, hey, do you like what we did for you? Oh, yeah, I'd love it, John. Great. Would you mind putting that in writing and give us a 5-star Google review? 4 or 5 stars. It's up to you. And it's all about asking. So, Ricky, are you married? Let me ask you that.
Yes, I am. So we've been married for 2 years.
Okay. And
And
did you go out on a date the very first time your boyfriend at the time asked you, or did he have to ask you more than once?
I think it was only once.
Well, good for you, because if you could get people to give you Google reviews as fast as you said yes to that boyfriend, if I could do that, I'd have 10,000 Google reviews, but I only have 800. Okay. What I'm saying is here, if you want something, you have to ask for it. If you really want something, you have to ask for it again and again and again until you get it. The biggest problem that people have nowadays, whether it's selling cars, which I used to be a manager and training people, is you have to ask for the sale more than once. And even though customers are happy with our signs, it's inconvenient for them to have to go ahead and look us up and find our Google business profile and click on the 5th star and then leave a little description. So the formula for success in getting Google reviews is 1, put out a good product, 2, ask for a review, 3, ask again for a review, 4, ask again for a review, 5, make sure that you're making it simple so they can just scan a QR code, or they can just tap on an NFC card and make it really, really simple to get a Google review. That's how we got it. It's not because I asked 900 people and I got 800 reviews. I probably have asked 4,000 people and I have 800 Google reviews. That's what it comes down to, is tenacity.
And I love the fact that you said that, because I tell people, even when it comes to sales, you have to have at least 12 to 15 touch points with a person to get that person to convert. And I think the thing for us is what kind of motivate a lot of our people to, because we do reviews and we do referrals. So we have
Yeah.
like a nurture series that goes out after we kind of close things off, and we make sure that there's a link in the email, and we text and email them that. So our review rate that people actually do for us, we have about a 75%. But
Great.
I shifted from doing Google reviews to letting them, I have a platform, they record a text to review, and then I can embed those reviews onto the website now versus
That's
using
fantastic.
Google. So that's what we do with our company. But I definitely
Yeah.
love that, because a lot of people don't ask. And my grandmother used to say, "You have not because you ask not," and that's the biggest thing of
I know the
asking.
book that comes from.
So
That's the same book that says ask and you shall receive. I'm pretty sure. Right?
yeah,
So it's also a matter of setting a culture, Ricky. So on the outside of my building, before you even walk into our store, we have a bricks and mortar store, and I
right.
have graphics on the outside of the windows because that's free advertising space, and on the window that's right beside where you walk in. So when you open my door, it says 782 Google reviews right beside my window. Right. So people know that we've got lots of reviews. So I'm reinforcing our commitment to excellence right as soon as they walk in the door. They also know that hundreds of other people have already approved of us. But the other thing is, I put a psychological message in their brain that, oh, these guys get Google reviews, right? Like, you have to train your clients to leave you Google reviews. Now, Amazon, Jeff Bezos has done us a great favor by he's trained the population to look for Google reviews before they buy a product, but he's also trained the population to leave reviews, or not Google reviews, but Amazon reviews. And so you need to get reviews wherever your market is looking. So if you're marketing only on Facebook and that's where you're getting clients, get Facebook reviews. If you're on a restaurant, maybe Yelp is the place, but I would strongly suggest that Google is the place, because Google is the most important search engine. It's the most powerful search engine. And you don't want to dilute you're asked. You don't want to ask, oh, leave us on Facebook or Instagram or Google. You don't want to give them three choices. Try to give
Yeah,
them one
just
choice,
do
the most effective choice, right? But
one.
yeah, so you need to train people. You have to have, I've got three signs are on my counter at beside my till that say, leave us a Google review. I've got cards here. I've got, signs all over the place. So people are getting multiple messages that we ask for Google reviews. So it's not a surprise when they're finishing paying their bill and they've put out their credit card and they've done that. And I said, oh, would you mind just tapping here to leave us a Google review? Or when they get an email or a text message that says, hey, thank you so much for doing business. Would you do us a favor? Would you mind leaving us a 4 or 5 star Google review? Uh, it's greasing the skids. It just makes things. You want to take all the friction out of getting a client first of all, and then once they are a client, you want to remove the friction of getting your next client. And the way that you do that is by getting hundreds of Google reviews. Like I now get business from New York City, Los Angeles, Toronto. I have customers as far away as Japan. I actually had a Google review left for me the other day from Spain
Oh
because,
wow.
because I was able to help somebody. So well, let me put it this way. A Google review doesn't have to be just about a product that a person purchased from you. If you like this webinar after you finish watching it and you're excited about it and you learned something and I was able to help you with your business, I would really appreciate if you would leave us a Google review. Alley Cat Signs and Marketing. Just look us up and leave us a Google review. And it doesn't have to be 4 stars; it could be 5 stars. I've even got 1 stars. Okay, you're not going to make everybody happy all the time, but I've gotten reviews. There was a 10-year-old student who was doing a project for his middle school project, and his dad called me up and said, hey, I need some coroplast. Can I buy some coroplast from you to make this display for my son? And I said, oh yeah, come on down. And I gave him a sheet of coroplast for free, right? Just some offcuts that I had. So I helped the dad help his son. And I said, he goes, how much do I owe you for this? And I said, oh, don't worry about it. Just, hey, would you mind just leaving me a Google review? Like I was a benefit. I offered them something. I helped the kid get a good mark on his project. I made the dad look good in front of his kid. I don't know about you, but I like to help people.
Yeah.
So, when I've helped someone out, I don't mind asking, hey, would you mind saying a good thing about us, about our team, right? Because people want to do business with people that they know, like, and trust. It's not about just the product. Is this the cheapest guy around? Or is this the best value? Or, there's a lot more that goes into a customer relationship than a supply and demand exchange, I think.
I definitely agree with you because I know I'm in the process of reverse engineering stuff because I don't use Google reviews, but I have a lot of reviews. And what
Yeah.
I've noticed is because I don't use Google reviews, most of my clients are outside of the state of Oklahoma. And
Hmm.
and I was like, if I do start using Google reviews, I was like, that's going to localize more of my clientele. But yeah, I would say at least 95% of my clients are outside of the state of Oklahoma, which I kind of
Yeah.
love because I get to travel to them for
Yeah.
certain things. But yeah, that's one of the big keys that I would say if you are not using Google, it's great to have that SEO and get local clientele if that's your goal for things.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, and I love it. I have a son that lives in Phoenix, and we have a beautiful daughter-in-law and 2 grandsons that live down there. So I love to go down to Phoenix and do business from down there. But because people can find me for our digital business, I can do that from my computer while I'm visiting my grandkids. Right? I
Right.
love that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and that I love that too because I'm able like when my husband travels a lot for work. So if I want to go with him while traveling, I can just mobilize and go and still work at the same time. So that's one of the
Hmm.
things I do love about digital marketing from that standpoint. But I
Yeah.
do want to kind of go in and ask you a question about some of the stuff we talked so far because I know like you transitioned from sales Is there anything that you learned from sales that you're actually still doing today in your current company?
Yeah, so I don't actually go out and sell anymore, but I still do estimating. So um, our business is mostly inbound now because we have such a good reputation.
Mhm,
But here's the biggest thing. Like I said before, treat others the way you want to be treated. Um,
mhm.
Literally, there are about there's 5 sign shops. I have that son that is in Phoenix. He's there because he played lacrosse. That My son could throw a lacrosse ball from here to 4 other sign shops. That's how compact and condensed our market is, right? So we have to do something to stand apart from those people. The first
Mhm.
thing is, have a good reputation. The second thing is you've got to get to them right away. Like the first person who replies, there's stats on this. First to lead is usually the person who gets the business. It's over 70%.
Yeah.
So even if you're not the cheapest, but if you're the first one to get to them,
Mhm.
you're gonna get the business probably, right? The second thing is you got to follow up, and this is such a basic for sales, but most people don't do it. So I follow up. I have a sequence for following up with my clients, and I'll follow up 4 or 5 times. And I don't say, "Hey, it's John. I'm just following up about the sign that you were talking about." I go, uh, they already know me. They know that we've given them a price, but sometimes they just get busy, right? Or sometimes there's they're still waiting for something else, and I go, "Hey, Ricky, it's John from Alley Cat Signs and Marketing. Does it make sense to go ahead and for us to start producing that sign for you? Give me a call back." Blah blah blah. So I don't say that I'm following up. I say, "Does it make sense?" And that flips a cognitive switch that people have to think about that. Okay, when they're just following up, there's a filter that just automatically shuts that out. It's like, I don't have time to process that. I'm not going to deal with that.
Right.
But does it make sense? That makes me have to actually think. Okay, does it make sense? He gave me a quote. He was prompt to respond. He's now following up. Yeah, I'm going to go with John. It turns an automatic no into a process that has a much stronger chance of turning into a yes. So techniques like that, yeah, still hold true whether you're selling or whether you own your own business. And when you own your own business, it's even more important.
Awesome. And I think that's a great example of a high impact, low cost strategy.
Hmm.
Is making sure you're honing in on the follow up, because a lot of people do
Yeah.
drop the ball and let that follow up sequence fall through the cracks. And that's one of the things that we evaluate in my company is, are you following up with people before we go try to get you new leads? Let's look at your current leads to see if it's anybody that you can reactivate and bring back in because you didn't follow up with them the way you should have the first time.
Yeah, and I compliment you, Ricky. You and your team, you followed up with me. I got sick. I was supposed to be on your podcast about a week ago, and your team followed up and reached out to me, and here we are. Here we are now having this communication. Hopefully, it's
Yeah.
beneficial.
Yeah, and I definitely feel that it's beneficial. And I think that we've discussed some great tidbits about marketing and different things that people can actually use versus going out trying to pay for ads that aren't getting them anywhere.
Yeah.
Um and so I would ask you, um when it comes to like business or personal growth, how do you try to make sure you're resonating with your audience?
Hmm. Well, I think it's really important to be current
Mhm.
and understand what's going on in the marketplace. So right now, what's the buzzword? AI. So everybody's all everybody's all about the AI, right? The problem
Mhm.
is AI is going to be more of a problem for most clients than it is going to be an asset because it's going to get misused. It's like having a car with more horsepower. More is not better. For the most part, you're only going to be able to use like 50 to 100 horsepower. If you have 500 horsepower, you can't use that unless you're in a drag race. And most moms and minivans are not drag racing to the mall, right? It's kind of the same thing with business. You get all this AI, or you got this phenomenal customer CRM system, and it does a million things more than what you do. Or in my business, we deal with design, Adobe Illustrator, and the entire Adobe suite of products. There's like way too much power then. You know
Yeah.
the KISS method, right? Keep it simple. stupid, right? So that's what I try to use. I try to make my message clear and direct. Okay, you need to be found where your customers are looking, and that's probably on Google. Once they find you on Google, if you're a bricks and mortar place, you need to be easy to find when they get to you. So you need to have a big sign out front, maybe a flag or an A-frame. Okay, and then you need to have a good reputation. Those are the three things that you need. Right? You need to be found where people are looking. You need to be found where people that are coming to do business with you are. And then you need to have a really good reputation that verifies that, okay, I found this person. Is he a good quality person, or is she a good quality lady to deal with? And that's what I focus on. So relating to I use AI tools, right? But I use AI, I coined this phrase, I should probably trademark it, AI squared. Right? Well, what is AI squared, John? Well, I have 45 years of actual experience, actual intelligence. Okay. I see so many people right now are trying to get rich quick with digital marketing. Nothing against being a 19-year-old pimple-faced kid living in, your mom and dad's basement, but you can have all the software and the smartest AI in the world, but without actual experience to mix with that, to mesh with that, you're not going to be able to beat somebody like me. Or you're okay. It's not about beating me. You're not going to be able to produce the quality of results that someone like I can produce because I have experience. So find a mentor and work with someone who's more experienced. That's my advice. But where was I going with this? Okay, I'm 62 years old. I forget things sometimes. Lost my train of thought. Oh yeah, AI squared. So use the tools that are available, but you have to oversee, you have to supervise the tools. AI is just an employee. It's a really, it's not smart, but it has access to lots of information. It's knowledge versus wisdom. Okay. Just because you have the knowledge doesn't mean you're wise enough to know how to implement it. And that's where experience comes with. So look for someone who has great tools and great experience, because hey, your business is your livelihood. You're supporting yourself, you're supporting your family. You might be like me, supporting another 4 or 5 other people. You might be supporting thousands of people. It's not worth risking it for the latest and greatest shiny tool, because it's new and shiny doesn't make it better. It just makes it new and shiny, and probably needs to be tweaked and morphed and advanced. I mean, let's look at everything technical nowadays. How many times are you getting updates, right? But this is the smartest update that you can give AI.
Yeah. And I love the fact that you're saying that, because I literally just did a webinar teaching people how to prompt AI the right way. And my thing is that in all of it, yes, you can get AI to do a lot of things, but AI is not supposed to replace you, but it's supposed to enhance you. So I have
Yeah,
this 90% AI, 10% human kind of thing, where
yeah,
in all of it, you have to have that human aspect, and you have to
yeah,
train it off of your human side versus trying to only rely on the AI side. So I definitely
yeah,
agree with you on that.
yeah. And this is real world experience I'm talking about. I'm not just blowing a bunch of smoke here. Like, I've used AI tools for one of my best customers, Swiftsure Law, John Nielsen, a local lawyer, divorce lawyer. Our AI tool was able to get him from like way below number 20 all the way to number 1 in about 5 months.
Mhm.
But you know what happened? I changed the title on his Google business profile, and I got him like another 1,000% of visibility. Okay. Another client of mine, Michael McMullen, realtor that I know really well, super nice guy, has a great business, great clientele in Victoria. But we're a small, we're like let's say 400,000 people in our city. And we have 1,400 realtors. Like, digital marketers now are what realtors used to be. They want the lifestyle job. They want to do all the money, but none of the work. So, but Michael's a great guy. Does really good work. I increased his Google visibility by 8,400% by tweaking one little thing in his Google business profile that AI had been working on for 7 months and didn't figure it out.
Mhm.
Right. So yeah, there's just no substitute for experience.
Yeah. And John, thank you so much for being on the show with us today and taking your time out of your schedules to share your insights and your experiences with us. Your journey is truly a testament for us in the marketing niche. And I love hearing the tips and wisdom that you shared with everybody on
Thank you.
today because it showed your resilience, especially after you encountered that life altering incident.
Yeah.
And then it also shows the element of service, how you're willing to help people and care for people in the process. Because I feel like um, a lot of service-based professionals have kind of left out the service part of business, where we're here to serve people and not just look at them as a dollar sign. And
Hmm.
then also showing the elements of leadership for extending things out past yourself, but to your team.
Thank you.
And could you let the audience know how they could connect with you?
Yeah, I sure will. So you can see up on the screen here. Hey, I just got a new toy, so let me show this to you. So igetyourfound.com is a landing page that I put together,
Mhm.
and if you go there, you can download a great little PDF that's how to get found on Google. So it's something that I put together from all of my experience, and
Amazing.
then we also have. Uh, a YouTube channel, and everything that I do for my clients, I put for free on my YouTube channel. So I've shown there tutorials on how to get found on Google, how to optimize your Google business profile. Go there and check it out. If you're a business that's doing $500,000 a year or less, you probably can't afford or don't want to hire someone like Ricky or me to do your work for you. But start with this free stuff and then work your way up, and then when you're ready, find someone who's got a really good reputation. So that those are some of the tools that I offer. And I think that I just want to offer one other thing for your business clients out there.
Mhm.
Most of you are very well service oriented. You give more probably than you charge for. Those are the kind of things that give you the right to actually have a responsibility to ask for Google reviews, to make it easier for the next clients to find someone good and reputable like you to deal with, to save them from dealing with those disreputable people that we've all had experiences with. So do
Yeah.
yourself a favor and do your future clients a favor by asking for Google reviews and showing who you really are, because that's all you're doing. The people that are out there buying Google reviews, they're going to get found out and they're going to get their profiles squashed. But people like you and I that do business with integrity, you need to ask for those reviews and make sure you answer the negative ones. That is such a key. And I talk about that in some of my training. So, hey, thank you so much. I hope this has been helpful for you.
Awesome. Thank you. And yes, definitely make sure you reply to all reviews, both positive and negative. And for
Yeah.
all of our listeners who are tuned in on today, thank you for listening. And if this was something that you really enjoyed and could be useful to you, make sure you like, subscribe, and share to someone else who could possibly use the tips that were shared on today. Until next time, continue to build your business for
Yeah.
on your entrepreneur journey so that you can grow and love and be enriched to build a long living legacy.
Bye bye.